Welcome to Taiwan Report News Brief, news and analysis from Taichung, Taiwan. I'm Donovan Smith. All right, up today on the program, some interesting details I discovered related to the Kaohsiung mayoral by-election. Some interesting comments on the Taiwan People's Party. The U.S. issues warrants for Taiwanese. The Hong Kong Support Office and laws potentially disappoint. But let's kick off with interesting details related to the Kaohsiung mayoral by-election. So I've been doing some research on the KMT and Taiwan People's Party candidates for mayor in the Kaohsiung mayoral by-election. But first I have to issue a correction. In a report a few days ago, I incorrectly said that KMT candidate Jane Lee's father, Li Rongzong, was previously mayor of Sanzhong. Being the idiot that I am, I accidentally copied another name in Chinese with the same surname, KMT Secretary General Li Qianlong, and ended up researching him. That actually turned out to be interesting as well, which ended up with me learning from Nathan Batto that he is the head of what remains of the Sanzhong Gang. In 1975, their candidate, who also owned the Liberty Times and a bank and some other things, but the Liberty Times wasn't pan-green back then. So he was elected legislature, their candidate at that time, was legislator in an infamous vote-rigging election that pulled a young lawyer named Lin Yixiong into the Dangwai movement. The Dangwai movement is the precursor to the DPP in the martial law era. Lin sued the KMT for electoral fraud. Lin was later arrested and beaten in jail for being involved in the Kaohsiung incident, which was a pivotal protest in 1979 that led to arrests of a group of people that later went on to be key figures in the DPP, including Lin himself. While he was in jail, though, an unknown assailant or assailants broke into his home and stabbed his mother and 3 daughters on February 28th. Only one of his daughters survived. The massacre was clearly a political message, most likely carried out by gangsters affiliated with the KMT, because the date was the anniversary of the start of the 1947 228 uprising, which led to the KMT government killing tens of thousands of people. They briefly tried to pin the murder on Australian Asia expert Bruce Jacobs, who later I was on ICRT with doing election analysis. He has sadly since passed away. But I am digressing. It turns out that Jane Lee's father was the chief negotiator during a Kaohsiung prison hostage crisis in 2015, which got a ton of press coverage. He apparently went in alone and unarmed. Now, a city councilor is a curious choice as negotiator on its surface, but a corrupt politician may actually be a good choice. He was also involved in a vote-buying case to rig the vote for Kaohsiung City Council Speaker. So, both he and Jane Lee also used to be in the People's First Party members. Now, speaking of ex-PFP politicians, TPP candidate Jean Wu was once hardcore pro-China unification Chiu Yi's legislative assistant. He also got sentenced to 4 months in jail for forging assistance subsidies forms. And curiously, his son works in Froggy Chiu's office. Yes, the butt-cheek chopstick assassin of the Can't Stop This Party political party that I reported on recently. Taipei Mayor and TPP Chair Ke Wen-je has made some interesting comments. As reported in local media outlet UDN, a reporter asked Ke, who was helping campaign for Jean Wu in Kaohsiung, the following in rough translation. Does the TPP want to become the second biggest party in Kaohsiung? To get rid of the KMT and absorb the more intellectual pan-blue votes? Ke replied, of course in an election you want to be elected in first place. However, if you want to become first, you first have to be second. And then you can charge forward towards first place. There are some interesting things here. I don't have the full transcript of the interview, but it appears Ke didn't question or comment on the absorbing pan-blue voters part. No mention of absorbing pan-green votes, which in the past was a big part of his appeal. He got votes from both sides. This suggests that suspicions that the TPP is positioning itself as a light blue alternative to the KMT may be correct. These comments and past comments make it clear that he wants the TPP to be the main opposition to the DPP, so the tilt towards light blue makes strategic sense. By setting up the TPP, now the third biggest political party, as an alternative to the KMT, his party is well positioned to benefit from chaos in the KMT, especially if KMT chair Johnny Chiang fails to get his proposed reforms through. Experienced, well-connected defections from the KMT and PFP camps could grow the party significantly. That would grow the party much faster than the New Power Party, which is working to grow largely organically with more ideologically pure candidates. For quite some time now, I've been very curious, on a separate topic here, what the Chinese communists think of Ke and the TPP. The TPP has basically taken on the current DPP stance on cross-strait relations, but without the historical baggage and the deep green base that the DPP has, giving them more room to maneuver. Apparently, the Chinese don't see any hope for their agenda with the TPP. Their mouthpiece, Global Times, recently included this line in an article. Quote, the Taiwan People's Party, an extreme separatist political party of the island. Well, that makes their view pretty clear. The U.S. won arrest warrants for 3 Taiwanese men, a former president of China-based Fujian Jinhua Integrated Circuit Company, and 2 engineers, charged with stealing secrets from Idaho-based Micron Technology. They had previously all worked for Micron. They have already received fines and received sentences in Taiwan. Micron has huge investments in Taiwan, especially here in Taichung. Now, according to the Bloomberg report, however, legal experts have said there's little motivation for the 3 to appear in a U.S. court, although they said that Taipei and Washington might reach an agreement to extradite them from Taiwan. Now, this case is important because Taiwan is both a big part of the supply chain and is a good place for companies like Micron to invest in. That Taiwan is enforcing the laws on stealing trade secrets underlines the difference between Taiwan as an investment destination and China, which systematically steals trade secrets as state policy from investors. The Taiwan government will establish an office in Taipei on July 1st to offer humanitarian assistance to Hong Kongers, including those who wish to seek asylum. Now, I've been sitting on this story for a little bit, but I haven't had time really to get to it. But we're going to get to it now. So the office will be under the Taiwan-Hong Kong Economic and Cultural Cooperation Council, a semi-official organization founded by the government in 2010 to handle communications with Hong Kong authorities. The new Taiwan-Hong Kong Services and Exchanges Office will have 3 sections for consultation services, project management, and administration. The office will also offer consultations to Hong Kong-based businesses and NGOs that wish to relocate to Taiwan. In addition, the office will provide a one-stop service to Hong Kongers who wish to study, conduct business, make investments, or seek asylum in Taiwan. In theory, this sounds good, but a Wall Street Journal report said this, quote, the new program, as disclosed so far, struck some Taiwanese lawyers, rights activists, and Hong Kong protesters as underwhelming. They expressed concern about the lack of specifics, such as what criteria applicants must fulfill, how they would be assessed, and what specific benefits successful applicants would receive. Now, part of the problem is that Taiwan does not have a specific refugee law, and the government goes out of its way to avoid using that term in relation to people coming from Hong Kong. Article 18 of the Laws and Regulations regarding Hong Kong and Macau affairs allows the government to offer necessary assistance to people in Hong Kong and Macau whose safety and liberty are at immediate risk due to political factors. But it doesn't lay out what that means. Now, as an aside, the person in charge of drafting that law back in the 1990s happens to be Tsai Ing-wen. Anyway, meanwhile, curiously buried at the bottom of an article on a different topic, the Taipei Times reported this. The Chinese language Ta Kung Pao yesterday reported that it had received information about two main escape routes Hong Kong activists have been using to flee to Taiwan since pro-democracy protests began in the territory in June last year. The report lists three locations in the territory: Sai Kung Town, Aberdeen, and Shao Kei Wan, where Hong Kongers are picked up by boats and taken to the Taiwan Strait, where they board another boat and are dropped off either in Hsinchu or Jiayi County or Taichung, Tainan, or Kaohsiung. Alternatively, they're driven to Xiamen before being taken out to sea and landing in Hsinchu County, the report said. Hong Kongers entering Taiwan in this way enlist the help of fishers, whose starting price is 300,000 Hong Kong, or 38,704 US, which is about 1.2, 1.3 million NT, and could cost more than 500,000 for celebrities, it said. That's curious. Okay. I suspect they mean Denise He is my guess. Fishing boats are less prone to attract the attention of Taiwanese law enforcement, while yachts have an 80% chance of being inspected, the report cited fishers with knowledge of the matter as saying. Okay, that's interesting. When asked for a comment, the National Immigration Agency cited a response it issued in December last year, saying it had not received reports of stowaways from Hong Kong, but that it would keep close tabs on the situation. So, if true, this adds a whole new wrinkle. How will the government handle Hong Kongers who have been smuggled in? Do they have mechanisms in place for this? Clearly, these would be the people who are very scared and most likely to be the ones to suffer under the new incoming national security law China is set to impose on Hong Kong. In short, these are the ones most in need of help. There are alarmingly few answers available. Now, naturally, Chinese Communist mouthpiece Global Times had some things to say about this. Quote, experts from the Chinese mainland noted that the DPP authority won't sincerely help these lawbreakers, as they can only be useful if they stay in Hong Kong and interrupt the one country, two systems principle. If they tried to escape, they would be useless and an encumbrance to Taiwan. Most of them have neither money nor talent, so most of them will surely be abandoned. It continued to add, no matter what Taiwan does to shelter these lawbreakers, they and the Taiwan separatists will be punished eventually, experts noted. And they quoted a so-called expert as saying, the more garbage that Taiwan rescues, the fewer persons we need to jail these criminals from Hong Kong. Oh, charming. All right, be sure to check out our site, report.tw, for where I have them, English language source articles for this content, and, of course, lots of other stuff I've posted up you might be interested in. Hit like and subscribe, and tune in tomorrow.
This has been brought to you by the Taiwan Report. For more content like this, become our patron at report.tw.
哎呦，就是那个台湾狗啦，最喜欢我的台湾狗了。